Man, if you'd asked me a year ago what the most stressful part of owning a little farm would be, I'd have said the usual stuff. Weather crops, fixing fences, maybe arguing with the county about irrigation permits. I never imagined I'd be dealing with a $40,000 steel gate, a rent-a-cop, and the full-on fury of a neighborhood association that thought they owned my land. And yet there I was, staring at a gleaming metal wall across the gravel road I had poured my sweat and money into building, thinking, well, this is new. It all started with the road itself. For years, deliveries to my orchard had been a nightmare. The old back route was basically a pothole gauntlet with blind curves and a culvert that looked like it had survived the Civil War just fine. Trucks were scraping axles, visitors were getting lost, and I was tired of explaining to frustrated delivery drivers why they couldn't just turn around and go home. One morning, after months of scanning land listings like a hawk, I spotted a narrow strip of county surplus land that would let me punch a straight, solid road to the highway. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Legal, clean, and free from the HOA's meddling. Within 4 months, gravel was down, drainage done, slope stabilized, even added solar-powered lights along the path. I threw up a simple gate at the entrance, some big aluminum signs, private property. No trespassing, not maintained by HOA, and figured that was enough. Foolish optimism, I know. I thought maybe the HOA would be relieved to have fewer lost Amazon vans clogging their cul-de-sacs. But some people, they don't like anyone doing anything outside their control. Enter Marla Thompson, the very definition of entitled HOA royalty. She showed up one Tuesday morning, clipboard in hand, heels clicking like machine gun fire over the gravel. "Excuse me," she said, voice sharp as a tack. "I'm Marla Thompson, president of Pine Ridge Homeowners Association. We need to talk about this road." I squinted at her, dusting off my jeans. "This road, this is my property," I said. She smiled that tight, patronizing smile adults give kids who drew on the walls. "Well, it borders our community and cuts across what we consider HOA easement land." I blinked. "No, it doesn't. I bought this straight from the county. Not your land, not your easement." She pressed on anyway about visual impact disruption to the aesthetic, even safety concerns. I gestured at the freshly laid gravel, thinking, maybe I should add flower beds to appease her. "I'm just trying to find a cooperative solution," she said. "No," I replied, "you're trying to exercise authority over land that isn't yours. I've got title survey permits. I'm not joining your HOA." She blinked, lips curling in annoyance, and turned on her heel, gravel crunching underfoot. I thought that might be the end of it. I was naive. A week later, things escalated. First, small plastic signs appeared near the entrance, looking semi-official. Then came letters, first amateurish printed on letterhead, threatening legal action if I didn't appear before the HOA board. I laughed and tossed them in the burn barrel. Then certified letters arrived with allegedly official maps claiming my road crossed a future utility corridor. Julian, my lawyer, looked at them and snorted. Homemade overlays completely invalid. Classic overreach. Then came the people, 2 guys in neon vests with clipboards measuring photographing, ignoring me when I called out. I walked them to the boundary line and gave them 1 minute to leave, or I'd call the sheriff. I set up motion-triggered cameras along the road that night. A couple of days later, I woke to massive steel gates spanning my road, a prefab security booth, and a kid with mirrored sunglasses pretending he had authority. And there on a tasteful plaque, the words, "Pine Ridge HOA, private access." I laughed, sort of in disbelief, sort of in fury. I told the kid, "Go ahead, call the cops." Deliveries were blocked. Contracts canceled. Farm tours canceled, losses mounting by the day, over $700,000 in potential revenue. I drove to Julian's office and said, "We're suing them." He didn't even blink. Civil trespass, interference with business operations, misrepresentation of jurisdiction, emergency injunction. We filed it the next morning. Meanwhile, Marla herself showed up at my porch trying to negotiate a temporary access agreement if I'd just register my farm with the HOA. I laughed right in her face. She built a damn fortress on my property and thought I'd join her little dictatorship like it was a gym membership. Court moved fast. The temporary restraining order should have forced the gates open immediately, but HOA ignored it, flat-out contempt of court. TikTok caught the entire debacle, and suddenly my little fight went viral. 500,000 views overnight, millions by the week's end. People were calling it Marla's Gate and making memes. College kids came by drone pilots, offered free aerial footage. Tourists started streaming in. My farm barely scraping by before suddenly had more foot traffic than a weekend farmer's market. I even sold produce and merch right there at the gate. I got denied at Marla's gate, t-shirts sold out in hours. Then came the courtroom drama. Maps, drone footage, timestamp security cams. The gate had been installed. It's 15 feet inside my property line. The contractor testified that Marla assured him it was HOA land, no permits needed. Julian even produced her internal emails. Just get it done, he won't fight. Dead silence. The judge wasn't amused. Verdict came. HOA guilty of trespass, unlawful obstruction, interference with business operations. $700,000 in financial damages, $250,000 in punitive and emotional damages, and the gate itself minus compensation. Marla gone. Recalled internally sued by her own HOA, almost $1 million in costs for her little power play. I didn't just get my road back, I got the ultimate revenge. I hired a security tech to convert the gate into something ludicrously smart. Motion sensors, license plate recognition, keycard access, and the pièce de resistance, voice activation. Speak the words. Not a Marla, and the gate swings open. People came just to yell it at the mic. It became a local landmark viral sensation and a small but thriving revenue stream for the farm. Food trucks, local bands, TikTokers, all gathering to celebrate the absurdity of HOA overreach. A year later, the orchard flourished. The peaches were sweeter, the gate gleamed in the sun, and Marla's gate had its own Google Maps pin with 5-star reviews. Every time I watch cars roll through, families laughing, kids screaming, not a Marla into the microphone, I think about what this whole mess taught me. Control is an illusion, but property rights, those are real. And sometimes the thing they build to block you ends up letting the world in. So what do you think? Was this a story of righteous revenge or just petty escalation gone wild? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share if you've ever fought your own HOA nightmare. And tell me, when does enforcing property rights cross the line into spectacle? I want to hear your take.